A very warm welcome to all our viewers. You're watching a special broadcast of Inside Karnataka. In this episode, we are bringing to you the Aero India 2023. We're going to talk about the Prime Minister inaugurating this grand event. We're going to talk about over 800 exhibitors at Aero India 2023, over 30 defense ministers participating, a round table of CEOs, the LCA Tejas, the competition between the Rafale Marine, the FA-18, all this and much more coming up in this special broadcast. Don't go anywhere.
India is among the world's leading defense importers, but in recent times has been a significant thrust towards indigenous production. Aero India, held in Bengaluru, has been an annual ritual, a major defense expo, but the focus this edition was innovation as well as Atmanirbharta.
दुनिया की डिफेंस कंपनियों के लिए भारत केवल एक मार्केट ही नहीं है, भारत आज एक पोटेंशियल डिफेंस पार्टनर भी है।
आज के संदर्भ में यह माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की आत्मनिर्भर भारत पहल को आगे बढ़ाने की दिशा में हमारे मैन्युफैक्चरिंग स्किल और कैपेबिलिटी को डिस्प्ले करने का एक अनूठा अवसर भी प्रदान करता है।
Times Now spoke to India's Navy Chief Admiral R. Hari Kumar about his vision for an Atmanirbhar Bharat in defense.
Joining us is the Chief of Naval Staff, Admiral R. Hari Kumar. Thank you so much for speaking to us. We've all seen in the recent past, incursions coming in from two, borders, from Pakistan, from, China. But from the naval side, do you see any imminent threats? How prepared is the Indian Navy, sir? Also here at the Aero Show, there's a lot to look forward to. The Prime Minister here inaugurating this year's, Aero India. If you could, give us a little bit of insight into the preparedness of the Navy and also this year's Aero Show.
The Aero Show, firstly, has been very well organized. It's one of the largest and very impressive air show. There has been a progressive improvement in the scale, complexity, and the participation by various countries. So this time, obviously, it has been very, very complex and very well coordinated and well participated in much larger numbers than earlier. So that's as far as and there are a whole lot of indigenous companies which have participated in it with many ideas, new products, etc., which we find quite useful because we have the Navy is also using a large number of aviation assets. So we found it useful in terms of ensuring how we get indigenous support for the equipment that we use, as well as how we can develop indigenous aircraft or indigenous helicopters and so on. So that way it has been a great opportunity for us, and there have been great learning value, a lot of interaction, and we are taking forward many of the lessons that you learned from the interactions. So that is as far as. Then in terms of the challenges that we face, Navy doesn't work just on threats. Navy works on the interests. What are the national maritime interests? National interests in the maritime domain. So, depending upon the interests, the force planning is done, force structure is developed, and thereafter we deploy the assets. So currently we have something called a mission-based deployments. Our ships are deployed in various parts of the ocean for specific periods of time, where we have our national interests to be protected. For example, the Gulf of Oman, where the piracy issues are there. Then also we have ongoing support to the merchant ships closer to the Persian Gulf. We keep presence near the Malacca Strait, so in the southern Indian Ocean. So there are various areas where we are operationally mission deployed. So mission deployment helps us in having an asset forward-based, ready, and capable of taking on any of the tasks that fall within the roles that are expected of the Navy.
The light combat aircraft Tejas was also on display, manufactured by India's very own Hindustan Aeronautics Limited.
The Tejas, of course, is India's go-to fighter aircraft, and with the recent deal with the Indian Air Force, of course, 83 of these aircrafts will be supplied to the Indian Air Force, and you can see, it exhibiting its maneuverability, doing a 360-degree turn almost, in the skies. And for the people, of course, who've gathered here, it's, a great experience. And, what they've also here, of course, waiting with bated breath is for the F-35 to take off, and that's, of course, going to happen right next. Right now we're looking at, of course, the Tejas doing, its maneuvers. It is enthralling the audience here, who are, of course, a related lot, looking at, these fly pasts, looking at, these aerobatic displays. Joining me is CB Ananthakrishnan, the CMD of HAL. Thank you for speaking to Times Now once again, sir. A couple of questions. The Prime Minister during the inaugurations mentioned about two things, that he wants to see India become one of the biggest, defense manufacturing, hubs and exporters as well. I could say HAL is probably the big daddy when it comes to, defense manufacturing here. And also another aspect that he mentioned is inclusion of youth in this particular sector. How does HAL really want to work around, this idea of the Prime Minister?
Yeah, definitely. For all our projects now, to start with, we have started engaging the startups. In fact, for the CATS program, as you are aware, that startup ecosystem, we are engaging with them so that they will be the youth which are generating so much of new, concepts and new ideas. We would like to capitalize, and we have also, in line with that IDEX program, which the MOD has initiated, we are also trying to have a separate fund created for the various startups, so that we will our challenges, we will give it up to the startups to come out with their concept. And we are completely aware of the ecosystem in the startup, and we want to capitalize on that.
We also believe that Argentina, Egypt, these are countries where you want to, start, immediately probably giving away the LCAs. If you could throw a little more light on, these deals, including Philippines.
No, as you are aware, there are leads which are becoming available to us from all these countries, and we are also shown interest, and we have also displayed the product features, and some of the countries have also, their team had come over here and flown our aircrafts, and they are quite happy and satisfied with the product. Having proven the product, and now it is time for us to convert those leads into business opportunities which we are pursuing with those countries.
So 15 LCA Mark 1s with Argentina, is that something that we are looking at in the next few days?
Obviously, we will be I will not say it as an announcement. We are very keen to see that this deal and other deals, not only this, other deals with the other countries also.
The BrahMos simulator was also a star attraction at Aero India.
BrahMos, that has been the force multiplier for the Indian Defence Services, is being showcased here in its next avatar, the NG version of the BrahMos that will be the next generation. And you see this sleek BrahMos that will be reduced to a size of 6 meters from its present size of 9 meters, and the weight will also be 1.4 tons. That will be easier for its integration into the indigenous aircrafts like LCA. Lethality is such that it can go up to a range of 500 kilometers, be it in the sea or on land. It can also fire from Sukhoi 30 MKI.
But Aero India is also an opportunity for foreign defense manufacturers eyeing the Indian market. And one of the showstoppers was the F-35s, manufactured by Lockheed Martin in the United States.
American F-35A once again winning hearts at Aero India 2023. You can see, the kind of skills that this particular pilot has, and the maneuverability of this particular aircraft, of course, is on display here at Aero India. Now, we should understand that as far as the US Air Force is concerned, they've brought in a huge fleet this time around of aircrafts. Apart from, what we are looking at, the display of the FA-35 that's right now going on. This is, of course, the 5th generation, fighter planes of the United States that they've come in with. This is the F-35A Lightning II. They've also brought in the F-35A Joint Striker Fighter as well, making their debut here.
And there were the F-16s as well.
What we're looking at right now is the United States That is the majestic F-16 aircraft, and that's of course taking to the skies at this point in time.
The United States also sent its largest ever delegation to Aero India. Deepak Bopanna spoke to Major General Julian C. Cheetah, the Assistant Deputy Under-Secretary of the Air Force, International Affairs.
Major General Julian Cheetah of the US Air Force joining us. Firstly, welcome to India. I hope you had a good flight here, and I'd start off because you don't have too much time. The main talks in the last few months has been how is the Rafale marine version going to compete with the F-18 as far as, India's needs, especially the naval needs, are concerned? If you could throw a little bit of light on that.
Yeah, so I think that's a sovereign decision for India to make. However, the aircraft that you see behind you, the F-21s, also known as the F-16, the F-18s, highly capable, and of course the F-35 also back there. But the F-18, I think, for the Navy, certainly a contender. But ultimately, it's going to be India's decision.
One quick question. Last time, of course, when Aero India was held in 2021, COVID restrictions, many things, of course, held many countries from participating. This is probably one of the largest contingents of the US Air Force making its way here. How do you really feel the Prime Minister here addressing Aero India 2023? How was that entire thing?
It was really, really excited to see Prime Minister Modi and the entire team. I'll tell you, I was very impressed by all the demonstrations today. And then seeing that C-17 lead that formation fly by was just spectacular. So really looking forward to building on the strong relationship that we have with India and building on that.
The Americans had also brought in two supersonic heavy bombers, the B-1B Lancer.
Making its way for the second time at Aero India is the B-1B bomber of the United States, and we should understand that this particular aircraft, of course, flew in on February 14th to Aero India 2023. Now, this is the B-1B Lancer heavy bomber that has made its way. It's a supersonic heavy bomber, a remarkable aircraft capable of carrying out various missions, carrying payloads, and of course, something that we've seen in many, Hollywood movies. But, for the people who've come to Aero India 2023, definitely a sight to behold. In the last couple of Aero shows, the biggest talking points, of course, have been the LCA Tejas and also the Rafale. Now, in the last Aero show, it was the biggest announcement that the IAF made that they will be inducting 83 of, these superb Tejas aircrafts, which are, of course, made by HAL. Then, of course, there was a lot of talks, there was a lot of controversy around the Rafale deal. And most of those fighter crafts, of course, are now a part of the Indian Air Force family. But right now, the biggest talking point in this year's Aero India 2023 is what will the Navy decide. Now, as far as the Navy is concerned, it needs aircraft specific right now to its requirement, that is to land on the INS Vikrant. That means it has to land on the aircraft carrier in between the sea or the ocean. So which are the aircrafts that are in line? Well, one of them is standing right behind me, the FA-18 Super Hornet. Now this is, of course, a US-made aircraft which is in line to be purchased by the Indian Navy if the deal goes through, of course. The one that's competing with this is the Rafale marine version. Which one is going to come through is anybody's guess. But both of these aircrafts are definitely beauties in its own way. We'll tell you all this and much more after this quick break. Stay tuned.
Unmanned aerial vehicles are an integral part of target warfare and counter-terror strategies, and that too was showcased at Aero India.
Joining me is Mr. Dilip, who's the Director AD of the DRDO. Now, this time in Aero India 2023, one of the unique features was that there has been a UAV which is, of course, capturing the entire aero display, and it's giving you a bird's eye view, and this is happening for the first time. And this is the reason why. This is the tapas that we're looking at, that is designed and also right now in production. And we should understand that the DRDO, of course, is making all efforts to ensure that this even reaches our armed forces. Mr. Dilip, tell us about Tapas and about this particular initiative to bring in, an aerial or a bird's eye perspective of Aero India.
Okay, so Tapas is completely indigenously designed and developed medium altitude, long endurance unmanned aerial vehicle with the industry partners, with HAL and Bharat Electronics. And it's the most advanced in its category of male UAVs. And very quickly, to give you an insight into what are the capabilities, it has got a secure data links which can go take the vehicle, unmanned aerial vehicle, to line of sight and beyond line of sight. We have SATCOM data links. It can go up to 1,000 kilometers. And we have the complete sense of mission senses which go on this for carrying out the I-STAR operations. And this is the vehicle.
HAL was also talking about the CAT systems.
Yeah.
Even that's an unmanned, arena of aircraft. Are you really going to collaborate with them in any way in this particular regard?
No, CATS is a different stream altogether because they're high subsonic thing for manned-unmanned teaming and all. This comes in the class of unmanned aerial vehicles in a male category, basically meant for ISR
So
roles.
this is basically surveillance. When you need to survey an area, enemy territory, just a reconnaissance, and all of these exercises. It's done with the tapas. But of course, there is also the UAV category, which is also can be armed, and it can be used to destroy, places where the enemy has set up base or anything like that. If you could tell us a little more of the Archer NG as well.
Yeah, so this is a variant of a tapas, which in addition to doing the ISR operations, is also capable of carrying the weapons and doing, it's a drone for a weapon delivery platform. And the complete design development is completed. We are going to do the first flight of Archer NG very soon. By June, we'll be doing this. But the most important thing is male UAS, they are called as unmanned aerial systems, because you require a very advanced ground control station with a ground data terminal and a ground operational systems to support flying of the unmanned aerial vehicles. And we have built that, and it's the most advanced.
This is probably the future of any air force, right? Unmanned aircraft.
Absolutely. UAV is going to be the predominant, air dominance is going to be through the UAVs. And these are the, I would say, naive steps towards achieving the
Thank
air
you for
dominance.
speaking to us.
Also present at Aero India was the Swedish defense giant Saab, showcasing the full-scale replica of the Gripen E and F cockpit simulator, part of its multi-role fighter aircraft.
Now, one of the static displays that's grabbing a lot of attention, and also a lot of crowd swarming around this particular static display, is of the Gripen aircraft, and also an opportunity to sit inside the cockpit. You can see right now people lining up, queuing up, in fact, from as early as about 10 a.m. to get a chance to sit inside the cockpit. Now, as far as Gripen E is concerned, it's one of the aircrafts where, a lot has been spoken about, how good the avionics is. To talk about that, I have one of the former Swedish pilots here with me also, who works with Saab at the moment. Mr. Martin joins us. Hi, Martin. A lot of attention around the cockpit and a chance to sit inside, but, a lot of talks about, how good the avionics inside this particular aircraft is. If you could give us a little bit of what we see here.
I'll be happy to do that. It's amazing. There's a lot of people here, and we really enjoy showing our aircraft on this exhibition. So, short story. As a fighter pilot in a modern aircraft, it's all about situation awareness. That is what you want as a fighter pilot. And part of that, we have this wide area display that truly give you the perfect situation awareness. It's extremely flexible. As a pilot, you can set it up in so many different ways, showing the information you want, the information you need at the right moment. So you can change the whole setup just pushing one button if you're entering a new phase during a sortie. And if you compare this to legacy aircraft, it's so much different. In a legacy aircraft, you had like one radar display, maybe a tactical map, maybe one display showing your radar warner. Here, we fuse everything on the same screen.
It was very recently that the 36 Rafales that were due to be given to India did land back here. But more importantly, of course, India is looking to improve its capabilities as far as airspace is concerned. The Indian Air Force is continuously looking at countries which could offer them the best multi-role fighter jets, which could help them in enhancing their combat abilities. One of the leading manufacturers of fighter jets is Saab. They're also one of the contenders, of course, who've been speaking to the Indian Air Force for several years now for the Gripen E and now the Gripen F as well, for sale of these fighter crafts for the Indian Air Force. Joining us is Kent Morlin, who's of course the head for Gripen in India. He's going to talk to us about this beautiful fighter jet that we have behind us. You've been, of course, a part of multiple aero shows that have been held here in Bengaluru, and of course in 2021 because of COVID you couldn't make it. But now there are some serious talks that are going on about Gripen and it delivering for the Indian Air Force. Yes. If you could throw a little more light on that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, what we are here this year is to showcase in the Gripen E. We have the Gripen E on a static display, and we also have the Gripen E training simulator, cockpit and training simulator on display or as well inside. And what we are showcasing here is the world's most modern fighter aircraft. Yeah. It has, and that is what we are offering to India. It has the latest technologies. It has the latest sensors and sensor suites and data links. Why does matter? Well, it will provide a superior situational awareness for the Indian pilots to get a God's eye view of the battle space. It has data fusion capabilities that will, we don't call it human-machine interface, we call it human-machine collaboration. We have taken that one step further. With smart AI-enabled software, we are supporting the pilot to make better decisions faster. And this is...
So, Mr. Molan, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but you know the aspect that comes into picture here is because Saab is not the only one that's speaking to the IAF. There's also, Boeing that's speaking. There's also the French, Dassault Aviation that's also in talks. What is something that stands out when it comes to the Gripen E in comparison with these aircrafts that are also looking to make its way into the Indian Air Force?
Well, beside having a decisive information advantage and better human-machine collaboration with better decision support system, what also is quite unique is that we have the best electronic warfare system available on the market installed in this fighter. It has a number of hexagon-based transmitters and receivers, which will enable the Indian pilots to go in contested airspace and operate and have mission success in passive and offensive electronic warfare measures. So you can use stealth not only by the shape of the aircraft. We can do it also electronically by jamming and spoofing other platforms.
I hope our viewers enjoyed this special broadcast of Aero India 2023 as a part of Inside Karnataka. Well, this year's Aero show, of course, was something to watch out for, not just for its sorties and the aerobatic displays, but also for numerous deals that our defense manufacturers in the country were able to strike with various countries and how it will bolster this industry overall. With video journalist Vinay, this is Deepak Bopanna for Times Now.